Step right up, dummies, and listen to the stupidest sports show on earth with Rodney Newpole and Tim Van Stratton. Yeah. Well, hello, dummies, and welcome to episode number 112 of the stupidest sports show on earth. My name, as you all know, is Tim SGA Van Stratton. I'm joined by Rodney Newpole on this Friday morning. Good morning, Rodney. We've made it to Friday.
Good morning. Nice, gloomy, little damp morning out here in lovely Central Illinois. It's basically what it's going to look like for the next 4.5 months or so, basically until like May. But here we are. It's the we'll have an announcement later, but maybe taking a little time off here for a little bit. We'll let you know later. But glad to be here today. Little sports coming up. A bunch of sports this weekend. Looking forward to it.
Is that the announcement? It's just there's holidays coming up and that we might be off.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
It's okay.
Yeah, so we'll take next week off for the holidays. Busy Tuesday, and then nobody wants to listen to a Friday morning show after Thanksgiving. No.
Everyone all feeling all fat.
Yeah,
we will eating a bunch of food and yeah.
We'll take next week off, but that's the special announcement that we'll announce again at the end of the show to remind you that no show Thanksgiving week, no show Christmas week. I mean, we're like big time now. Like big time. We actually get days off.
No, you know what would be big time is if we had like second string and third string talent for this show. Yeah. So, because ESPN radio, like during those times, they still have shows, but it's none of the regular people, and it's just a bunch of rando substitute hosts that fill in. That's what we should have. Just have some randos that do the stupidest sports show in our absence during the holidays.
That's true. I'll start taking applications later this afternoon if you are interested in becoming that random host during the holidays. Feel free to send us an email.
Won't get paid.
Or any day. If you want to just fill in, then I probably would allow you to. Basically what I say about our Sunday show, I'm like, if somebody wants to do it instead, I'd go right ahead.
Yeah.
But, that reminds me, I will be back on this Sunday with the legend Skeeter Robinson for Pure Fantasy Focus. Week 12 already of the National Football League.
I got beef with Skeeter. So obviously I loved doing the show last week in his absence, but it was his bye week. And I was under the impression that Skeeter was going to be out doing stuff with family, wasn't going to be available for his birthday weekend. I was like, okay. That's fine. Lo and behold, this guy is on touchdown duty. So and we've talked about it before on the thread where like in our stupid group chat on NFL Sundays, anytime anyone scores a touchdown, you throw the name in the chat. And 90% of the time, Skeeter's the one that does it. Well, from noon to probably 6:15, Skeeter is still on touchdown duty, which means that his ass is just sitting at home watching football. So at that point, I'm thinking, why did I just do a show for you? Clearly, you're not hanging around with family. If you were, you would be watching every game on Sunday Ticket and sending us touchdown updates.
Well, I'll give him a little. I do think he was gone. I think he traveled a little bit north of his family.
He still clearly was on every single game because it was every touchdown. And it was moments before we would see the touchdowns, or at least I would see the touchdowns, which usually indicates like he's at his place because his internet, whatever, is world class. So.
He gets elite internet. But that does get a little annoying when I'm watching Red Zone and I look down and there's a text about a touchdown, and then 12 seconds later the touchdown's on the screen. But I could always shut the phone off, I'm sure. But anyways, I will be back Sunday for week 12. I got another month of Pure Fantasy Focus, and then that'll be over as well. That'll be over for the year. So, all right, let's get to some sports talk for today. My first topic I put together, Buffalo Bills. They just may not be it. And I didn't put this header in there, but like I've said a couple times already these last couple weeks, it might be time to do something different than Sean McDermott, right? It just might be time. And I'm not I'm not necessarily going to completely put this on him, but like when things aren't working right, you just have to go to a change. And I'm not so sure it's not time for Buffalo to do that.
Yeah, I can't figure things out with Buffalo. I mean, okay, so let's just get this out of the way. Losing to Davis Mills is totally inexcusable if you're the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
An inexcusable loss. The division looks less and less likely, which means you're going to be sitting as a wild card team, which means you're going to have to go on the road for very likely all 3 playoff games.
Are we sure Buffalo will make the playoffs?
I think so still. I do. But, I mean, you and I both picked them to win the Super Bowl. And I don't know if I love that prediction anymore.
Yeah, so the Bills have the Steelers, the Bengals, the Patriots, the Browns, the Eagles, and the Jets. Not Murderer's Row, but like Steelers, Patriots, Eagles, all games where you're like, maybe.
I mean, that's half their schedule are contending teams.
Yeah. So that let's say they lose 3 of those. That's 10-7. I don't know in the AFC. Like you got to look at Jacksonville 6-4, Houston 6-5. The AFC West has a couple contenders there. It's not a gimme. I would agree with you. I think Buffalo does make the playoffs. But go ahead and continue on where you're going there.
No, so that's fine. Yeah, and but I'm just like thinking about the Bills and their situation, and yeah, you're absolutely right. Like Sean McDermott has been tasked with being the coach to lead a team that has prime Josh Allen, whether it was on his rookie contract, now on his max deal. Like they need to capitalize on this, having the MVP, having a guy who some consider to be the best quarterback in the entire sport, like get them to a Super Bowl. And that hasn't happened. They haven't even reached the Super Bowl. They keep running into Kansas City. And in the year where you finally have Kansas City sort of just desperately trying to stay afloat, and by the way, Kansas City, I'm sure, wasn't happy with the result yesterday because Houston's one of the teams ahead of them in the wild card hunt. Like, of all the years where you don't have to worry about Baltimore being super high up, you don't have to worry about Kansas City being high up, everything was right there for you. And they've led a team that was rebuilding past them immediately with a second-year quarterback and a new head coach. So, yeah, Buffalo is definitely a team where if they are a wild card team and they don't make it out of the divisional round again, like you really have to evaluate Sean McDermott. And especially because you know that Joe Brady, your offensive coordinator, is going to get a lot of consideration as the head coach. And maybe I'm not even saying like, oh, you totally have to clean house. No, but getting a new voice, I think, is important. So if Joe Brady is getting calls to be someone else's head coach, well, maybe you as Buffalo say, hey, why don't you become our head coach?
Right.
And we'll bring Brian Dable back as offensive coordinator, or heck, you give Brian Dable a call, like whatever you want to do. But I think just a new voice there is needed in Buffalo, especially with the fact that they're a wild card team at best right now, and that's just not at all where anyone thought they should be.
Yeah, and then on the other side, a massive win for Houston. Their defense was fantastic. Swarmed Josh Allen all night long. Got to him multiple times, hit him hard several times. Didn't. They gave up 2 huge runs, one to James Cook, one to Ray Davis. But Houston looked good defensively, and Davis Mills did enough to win that game. Houston now on the other side at 6-5, like they're right there for a playoff spot. Now here's the Houston schedule: Colts, Chiefs, then you got the Cardinals and the Raiders, and then the Chargers and the Colts again. So, obviously they're going to have to beat the Colts, but like, I don't know. Like, I feel like the Colts are the team that everybody's just kind of waiting to collapse, possibly. Right? Like,
I think you could say that. You could say that about all of the top 3 teams in the AFC. I keep waiting for the Patriots to maybe come down to earth a little bit, but I don't think the schedule will allow them to. I keep waiting for Denver, and like Denver is winning the ugliest, grossest games, but they're winning them.
Yeah.
And like we've seen some cracks with the Colts and some Like, they haven't looked particularly great the last 2 weeks against the Steelers. That was a loss. And then against the Falcons, which was an overtime game. Like, they haven't looked particularly sharp, but so maybe you're right. Maybe that is the team that we're sort of waiting on. But even still, they're 8-2. Like, they're in a good spot right now, and 8-2 is a hard thing to choke away, especially with the way that the AFC is looking, where you're probably going to get. I mean, are you sure you get 7 teams that all win 9 games?
Yeah, probably. I mean, you've got 1, 2. Yeah. I mean, yeah, because the AFC North winner might win 9, right? I guess that's at 6-4 for Pittsburgh.
So yeah, because right now the final wild card spot, you're looking at Houston, you're looking at Jacksonville, you're looking at Kansas City. I mean, Kansas City probably is the team that's most likely out of that bunch, but like I'm not expecting 10 plus wins from more than one of those teams. Yeah. So really, like if the Colts win 2 more games, they're good. Like they're fine.
Yeah.
They're fine. Like they beat the Texans next Sunday in Indy. And then I'm giving them a loss at Kansas City. I'm going to give them a loss.
Okay.
But let's say they beat the Texans at home. Okay, that's one. And then they just have to win one more at Jacksonville, at Seattle, hosting the Niners, hosting the Jaguars, and then Week 18 at the Texans. Like they'll win. They'll win at least one more of those games. So I'm not worried about the Colts.
Let's move over to the rest of the NFL slate. Pretty good slate this week, to be honest with you. I don't have a major concern with the schedule. 4 teams that are off: the Broncos, the Chargers, the Dolphins, and the Commanders. Some of the best games on the slate: Vikings, Packers, NFC North game. Both those teams are trying to stay alive for a wild card spot. Packers more than the Vikings. Vikings looks like they could be done. You mentioned Colts, Chiefs. Steelers, Bears is actually a first place game. Interesting enough. Looking later in the day, Eagles, Cowboys could be an interesting one. Sunday night football is Buccaneers, Rams. Monday night football is Panthers, 49ers. At the beginning of the year, you would have thought, Panthers, 49ers, that's going to be a bloodbath. But here's Carolina, just 1 game back of San Francisco, talking about NFC wildcard spot. So big one there. But let's start with the noon slate. So we got 7 games. Probably best game is Colts Chiefs, but you could probably argue Steelers Bears or even Vikings Packers. What's your favorite noon game? And you can't say the New York Giants.
No, and I would never. It's not my favorite game at all. I don't know why Detroit's only a 10-point favorite. Maybe it's the Jackson Dart effect, but that's I got questions there. But no, I mean Colts Chiefs is the obvious one. It's a Colts team that's in first place that and might still have, but for the season, considered the best offense in the NFL. But this is like an ultimate prove-it game. Like, can you do it at Arrowhead against a Chiefs team that is super desperate? Because the Chiefs right now are desperate. They're 5-5. They just saw the Texans get a huge win that directly hurts them in the wild card hunt. The Jaguars are a team that are had a huge win last week against the Chargers. That also hurts the Chiefs. Like, forget about AFC West stuff. They're just trying to play the wild card at this point. So yeah, like the Chiefs need to win this game. They need to win this game. So I'm excited about that game. Steelers Bears, I think you've mentioned it plenty. Like the Bears are finally at the stretch of the season where they're getting somewhat tested.
Right.
It starts this weekend because you have Steelers and you've got Packers a couple times. You have the 49ers. Like this is where the Bears finally have to prove themselves, a team that can actually make the playoffs. And then speaking of NFC North, Vikings Packers. Like I think the Vikings, if they have any hope to sneak in a playoff spot, they got to win this game at Green Bay, which isn't easy because you've gotten bad quarterback play. And the team just feels out of funk. And like Green Bay's offense hasn't really come alive, and I'm not sure if Josh Jacobs is going to be able to play. So like this is your opportunity for Minnesota. Like if you want to save your season here, you got to win on the road. Otherwise, it's done for you.
I don't love the 3:00 games. There's 4 games: Jaguars, Cardinals, Browns, Raiders, Eagles, Cowboys. I think is the best of them, and then Falcons, Saints.
Yeah, like
I've
by
got
default though.
I've got a best bets for betting in one of these. I'll get to later, but yeah, I mean, none of those 4 games are like playoff team against playoff team. Falcons Saints is kind of gross. Although here's my prediction this week. Saints beat the Falcons and Raheem Morris gets fired on Monday.
Yeah. Like I don't remember if it was last week or 2 weeks ago when we were talking about coaches on the hot seat and who's like, it might have been after Brian Daboll got fired. But we both kind of mentioned Raheem Morris and saying like things are falling apart in Atlanta.
Yeah.
They had, and it's the same thing that happened last year. So you remember last year, like we were both pretty high on them going into the season. They had a great start to the year and then just fell apart and allowed Tampa Bay to come in and backdoor them and win the division. Now you have this season where Tampa Bay and Carolina are ahead of you. Carolina should not be ahead of the Falcons. They should not. Absolutely not. And now you are very, very likely to be tied with New Orleans for last in the division. New Orleans is a favorite. On Sunday.
Yeah.
Because Michael Penix Jr. is now out for the season. And you can't be like, oh, well, now we have a backup quarterback. That backup quarterback is Kirk Cousins. You paid him $160 million or whatever it was a year and a half ago. Like, Kirk Cousins should be a quarterback that you feel like you can win with. And you're an underdog against New Orleans, that's a problem. So like I'm kind of with you, man. Like I could see New Orleans winning this game, and Raheem Morris is the next coach out because he's definitely not going to be back. He's definitely not gonna make it past the season for sure.
No, I wouldn't think so. Sunday Night Football's Bucks Rams seems like it could be a good game, especially if Baker Mayfield plays well. But Tampa Bay lost 2 in a row.
So can I ask you something? So why is, and I'm getting ahead of myself because I'm looking at Monday night here. Why is San Francisco a 7-point favorite and the Rams are also a 7-point favorite? Are you saying that the Buccaneers at the Rams are as much of an underdog as Carolina is in San Francisco?
I mean, I think they're looking at San Francisco just not, being good, but not being dominant. I think they're seeing San Francisco just kind of scrape by a lot of these games.
Oh, I mean, Rodney, if you had to say right now, and I haven't looked at your best bets for betting, but like if you had to say right now, who's more likely to win the game by double digits? Is it San Francisco hosting Carolina, or is it the Rams against the Bucs?
I don't think I'm going to be in agreement with you. I think the Rams could blow Tampa Bay out.
What? Okay, so what am I missing there with Tampa? Because like Tampa's been in a lot of close games. I know that they just had the loss against Buffalo, but like that was a close game for most of it. It was their losses. It was a 5-point loss against New England. The Detroit game on Monday night wasn't very good.
Yeah, I just think they're really still banged up. I mean, Egbuka's questionable. I do think he'll play. It's an illness. Bucky Irving still kind of on the mend, although I don't know why you need Bucky Irving. You got Sean Tucker.
Yeah, man. Wow. What a call. Like, okay, Rodney, that lineup that we put together on the show, getting a little off topic here. We had Josh Allen get almost 50 damn points.
Yeah.
And Sean Tucker at like whatever 1% ownership get 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
How did we not win $1 million?
Yeah, it should have cashed more than it did, but I mean, it's so hard. It's so hard. It's so hard. Possible to win big, and that's crazy. I mean, it's been years and years for me. You did it on the basketball side, but it's very hard. It's very hard. You got to have what they call the nuts. You got to have it all. But I don't know. I just look at Tampa and I think they're really banged up. And honestly, like, I think Tampa knows listen, they're not trying to lose this game, but I think Tampa knows the best for them can still happen here late in the year. But I don't think it's going to be in Los Angeles. I've already mentioned before their schedule: Cardinals, Saints, Falcons, Panthers, Dolphins, Panthers. I think they know that even with the 6-5 record, even with the loss here, because let's be honest, Carolina probably going to lose. Atlanta not going to catch them in the division. New Orleans not going to catch them in the division. And I'm not saying Todd Bowles is going out there and saying let's finish 9-8. but like they know they could finish 9-8 and probably still win this division. Like I just think you're going to see anybody that's kind of banged up or anybody they are trying to get to later on when they can be more healthy and play a little bit favorable schedule. I think the Rams might blow them out.
I mean, that's an interesting perspective. I just like, I don't know. I still consider Tampa Bay to be a very good team. They've been playing hurt for much of the season with some of their key players, and they still found a way to win games and be competitive in a lot of games. Like they really haven't been smacked around much at all this season. Like the game against Detroit, that Monday night game, was rough for them. But like even last week, I didn't watch that game against Buffalo thinking, oh man, Tampa Bay's so overmatched here. Like they hung with him, and it wasn't until the very end. So and you know, not to get too far into the narratives here, but like I think Baker Mayfield primetime game, like against a former team, like I think he wants to kind of play well. And
you're right. I do think
blown out. So
I do think you will. I just wonder if they won't get too creative play calling and mostly be vanilla type, because this is a potential postseason game, right? Like these two teams could very easily meet up. Like this could very easily be
this could be a 2 versus 3. It could be a 1 versus 4. Like, it could very easily be. So I just wonder how much Tampa Bay will put into this. But you're right. Sunday Night Football, Baker's certainly going to try. But yeah, that's the Sunday and Monday night game. All right, let's move to college football real quick. I don't have a ton I want to talk about in college football, but we complain about this every year. This is kind of the SEC bye week. Listen to some of these schedules. So number 3, Texas A&M. You want to see if they continue to stay undefeated, you know, how their season going. Well, they don't even have a spread because they host 1-10 Samford. The Samford Bulldogs, who lost last week 30-16 to Austin Peay. So Texas A&M at 10-0, they basically get a bye. Okay, so what about Georgia? Georgia's surging up the rankings. Oh, they get 1-9 Charlotte. 1-9 Charlotte. Charlotte's lost 7 in a row. They scored 7 points last week at Texas San Antonio. They're a 44.5-point favorite at home in this one. Oh, what about Alabama? Alabama, we're looking at them because, you know, they've got 2 losses. A third loss would devastate them. Well, it's not going to be this week. It's the 3-8 Panthers of Eastern Illinois, who have lost 6 straight and got beat by 30 last week at Lindenwood. It's so pathetic. It's so pathetic.
It's so pathetic. So, you know, you look at other schools. You've got Auburn. Well, they're hosting Mercer. No line on that one. You've got South Carolina. Not even very good this year. 3-7, but still in the SEC. Hosting Coastal Carolina, 24.5-point favorites. Oh, what about LSU? Getting a new coach here soon. Nope, they're hosting Western Kentucky, 21.5-point favorites. The only good games in the SEC, well, there's 3. Missouri, Oklahoma, decent game. Arkansas, Texas, decent game. Tennessee, Florida, decent game. There's no excuse in week 12 to be playing cupcakes. No excuse. Absolutely no excuse. Samford, Mercer, Eastern Illinois, and what's the other one? Charlotte. Come on, guys.
It's so out of place. It should be you play all non-conference games early on, and then at some point in the season, it's only conference games. I don't know why it is that the week before Thanksgiving, you have like these absolute cupcake matchups that are they're totally non-competitive and will have no impact whatsoever in the college football playoff rankings. Like it's absolutely a disgrace. So I don't know why it's allowed and why they're the only conference that does this.
Yeah, and you would so obviously you're hoping for just an absolute earth-shattering type of upset just to shake something up, but not going to happen. Mercer, Charlotte, Eastern Illinois, Samford. You got to be kidding me. Other games in college football, though, outside of the SEC, because there is life outside the SEC. Miami at Virginia Tech. Honestly, it's not a real great slate, although the best game is one you'll be interested in. The USC Trojans are at the Oregon Ducks. That is a big one, especially for USC. Can't lose that one if they want a chance at the college football playoff. That's really the only game I necessarily want to talk about. USC at Oregon. Trojans win. I think they're going to get in. Trojans lose. They're not getting in. Oregon on the other side is in, but a loss puts them on a question mark, puts them around the 10-11 spot, which we've seen, even if you're 11 or 12, potentially not getting in with the way the rules are. USC Oregon might be a best bet for betting game. Who knows? But what do you think there?
It is one of my best bets for betting games, so I won't give you the full prediction, but yeah, let's just put it this way. I was stunned at the spread.
Yeah.
I'm stunned at the spread. USC, this is a absolute must-win game for them. They don't have to travel multiple time zones. They've been playing good football. Like they've gutted out wins against Iowa. Like they've survived. Like they've totally survived. And this is a team that, Illinois hit a game-winning walk-off field goal against them. If Illinois college kicker misses that field goal, like USC is a one-loss team right now.
Yeah,
and we're talking about them, in a much different light. So
I think I know what your pick's going to be. We'll get to that here. After
Oregon by 3 touchdowns.
It's not Indiana we're talking about. Speaking of your Indiana Hoosiers, I believe they're off this weekend.
They are, yeah. I don't know how they became my Indiana Hoosiers. I'm just the brilliant sports analyst who correctly pointed out that the number 2 ranked team in the nation with the Heisman frontrunner and one of the best coaches in the sport is only like a 13-point favorite against a team with 2 wins. And no one has a problem with it. So
that brings me to this point. Ohio State hosts Rutgers tomorrow, and they're a 32.5-point favorite. If that's Indiana, it's probably like 14.5.
That's right. Like that's what I'm saying. And maybe split the difference, but it's probably like 21.5 points.
Yeah.
So I think people are just like, it's Indiana. That's well, like we can't say that anymore. We can't. Not when the quarterback's going to win the damn Heisman and go top 5 in the NFL draft. Like the coach has got a huge deal. Like it's not like, oh, this is a UCF situation. They're in the Big Ten.
Yeah. It's the final game for the Buckeyes before their annual loss against Michigan next week. But that won't even matter if Ohio State loses. I mean, it does matter because then you're potentially not hosting later in the college football playoff. You're not undefeated, all that. But like Ohio State's in, right? And as long as they don't lose the Rutgers, they're in because they'll have at a minimum 1 loss. So, all right.
So would they probably drop down? Let's say they lose that, they wouldn't play in the Big Ten championship, right?
No, they would. They've been in. In Indiana,
they lost to Michigan.
Yeah, but who else only has 1 loss? I'll look at the Big Ten standings. USC and Oregon have 1 loss.
Well, USC is 2.
Not in the Big Ten, though.
Oh, in the Big Ten. Okay. So
USC, Oregon, and Michigan all have 1 loss in the Big Ten. So Michigan would get in. Well, no, they would be tied. Yeah, there would be a tiebreaker scenario depending on how many teams lost.
Do they still have like the East and West leagues, or is it just the 2 best teams in the Big Ten?
No, 18 teams in 1 league. So Indiana and Ohio State have no losses. USC, Oregon, and Michigan have 1 loss. So potentially if Michigan beat Ohio State, they both had 1 loss, but another team got in there with 1 loss, there'd be a tiebreaker scenario. If it was just Michigan and Ohio State, obviously Michigan would go in head-to-head. So who knows? Do we really think Ohio State's going to lose again? I don't know. I doubt it.
Michigan lost to USC.
Yeah.
So they don't have that tiebreaker against them.
But if there's multiple teams.
They didn't play Oregon. But like, okay, so if Oregon or if USC beats Oregon, then they would move ahead of Oregon in terms of the losses in the conference.
Yeah.
Then Michigan, if they beat Ohio State, and obviously that'd be a huge win against Ohio State, but USC would have the tiebreaker over Michigan based on head-to-head, or I'm assuming that's how they do it.
Yeah, but Ohio State would also have 1 loss. So it'd be 3 teams, 1 loss. Yeah. I don't know if head-to-head would even matter anymore.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's up for the nerds to decide. That's not our job.
We'll let them figure that out. All right, let's move real quickly. It's feast week in college basketball, kind of starting this weekend all the way into next week. It's the ESPN invite tournaments and a lot of other things going on. There's a 3:00 game today. One of the best players in the country, AJ Disbanza, plays against Wisconsin. That's 3:00 today. So you do get a basketball fix. Louisville, Cincinnati's going on tonight. Purdue, Texas Tech. Texas Tech already played Illinois. Now they get Purdue. Speaking of Illinois, Alabama, good basketball game the other day. Alabama came away with the winner.
Tough loss for the Diamond Dudes. I'm sure that you were devastated about that.
Tough loss. Yeah, but next week you see all sorts of good games, ranked teams against ranked teams. Hawaii's got games. Orlando's got games. Bahamas got games. I'm not even going to run down all the games, but huge week of college basketball next week.
This might be a stupid question, but I'm looking at the Illinois box score right now, and their leading scorer Wednesday night, 26 points, was Andrei Stojakovic.
It is.
Please tell me it is.
It is. Yeah.
Amazing. Good. That's all I wanted to know.
It is. Good player. Transferred from Cal. He was at Cal last year. A good player at Cal. Will be. So Illinois is full of Europeans. They are locked and loaded on the Europeans.
It's the Bradley model.
It's been a successful model for them, but they've got kind of a cupcake. They've got Long Island on Saturday. They've got Texas Rio Grande on Monday. And then Black Friday, Illinois, UConn. Remember the last time Illinois and UConn played? Do you remember the last time Illinois and UConn played?
I'm vaguely familiar with it. I refresh my memory. Did UConn score a whole lot of points without Illinois scoring any points?
With like a 28-0 run in the NCAA tournament. One of the 2 years the Huskies, the second year the Huskies won the national championship.
Was that so? Like you and I both like trolling Illinois. What was more hilarious? Was it that, or was it when they got their ass kicked by Sister Jean a few years before that?
I was kind of fond of Illinois going to Madison Square Garden and getting beat by 40 by Duke just recently. But probably the Sister Jean loss. Like, that's a bad loss in state, right? Like, in the tournament to get eliminated by a Sister Jean. Yeah, that's
as I believe as a 1 seed.
Yeah, not great. Not a great look for the Illini there. But Illinois and UConn coming up Black Friday. And with no show next week, we can't break it down. But I do vote, Tim. Here's what I vote. I vote that we still will put together a 5-pack of best bets for betting. We can put it on Twitter. We can put it on the Substack. But by Friday morning, we could include it for Thanksgiving. If we wanted to have Thanksgiving games on there, we could, if you wanted. But by later next week, we both have to have our best bets for betting. I've got to find a way to come back. So we'll have that next week.
Yeah. We really, because we're going to be off next week, we haven't really looked at like the week 13 NFL schedule too much yet, like the 3 Thanksgiving games. So Packers, Lions, Chiefs, Cowboys, Bengals, Ravens. Obviously, like Bengals, Ravens has lost a little bit of juice compared to where we thought it was going to be at the beginning of the year. Same with Chiefs, Cowboys to a degree. Packers, Lions, though, I think is super interesting, especially if I'm assuming the Lions are going to beat the Giants. It's going to put them at 7-4. The Packers, I'm not saying that they're for sure going to beat Minnesota. Speaking of Minnesota, what's up, Dan? Happy Friday. But like that could be a 7-3-1 Green Bay team against a 7-4 Detroit team, and the Bears could also have 7 wins going into their Friday game against Philadelphia. So like, those are huge matchups that we're going to be getting.
Thinking about the Bears, they could have 8 wins going into that game. Obviously,
absolutely. Right? But no, I'm just saying, like, you could have 3. You could essentially have a 3-way tie for the NFC North.
Yeah, as they both play on Thanksgiving and Black Friday. Yeah, that Black Friday game in Philadelphia should be a good one as well. It's Bears Eagles 2:00 Central Time on Black Friday. So you get a triple header on Thursday. You get the Black Friday game. No Saturday games yet. Those do not start until December 20th. You'll get some Saturday NFL, but that'll be good. And maybe I'll spend some time on Twitter this week breaking those down as for the Stupidest Sports Show. But that is coming up.
Only 2 weeks of Saturday night football. I don't know why. I feel like the last few years we've had more, but yeah,
Yeah.
we don't get any until week 16. It's week 16, week 17, and then none week 18.
Yeah, but I don't know as if we get any in week 17, Christmas
Yes, we
week.
do. Yes, we do. So yeah. So there's 3 Christmas Day games that Thursday night or
Yeah.
that Thursday Christmas. So there's 3 games. Then we have 5 Saturday games, and then a handful of Sunday games and the 1 Monday night game. Yeah, Saturday, December 27th. You have Giants, Raiders, Texans, Chargers, Seahawks, Panthers, Ravens, Packers, Cardinals, Bengals.
Huh. Okay. My schedule just shows every game on Sunday. Interesting. All right. Well,
So my it's the ESPN app I'm looking at, full disclosure. So they all do say 12-27 or 12-28.
all right. So you are going to have some.
Yeah. So probably not all of them, but they'll probably take a couple of them, keep them Saturday, and then move the rest to Sunday.
Yeah. Sweet. I like Saturday NFL this time of year. Yes, I love college basketball, but I can watch both. I can have college basketball. I can have NFL on.
Yeah,
all
like
right,
once college football regular season's done, I'm fine with it.
Yeah. NBA Cup games tonight. We're back to group play still. There's like 8 or 9 games tonight. I don't know. Like a lot of huge spreads. Nets, Celtics, 14.5. Thunder, Jazz, 16.5. Pacers, Cavs, 14.5. Wizards, Raptors, 14.5. So a ton of good spreads, big spreads. Probably the game of the night tonight's going to be Nuggets at Rockets. Rockets are 2.5-point favorites there. But your thoughts on the NBA Cup tonight? Anything stick out to you?
Is the big game. Houston's a small favorite there, but like Houston, has responded. They started the year just kind of with a couple close losses, and now they find themselves at 10-3, kind of where we expected them to be. Denver's 11-3. They're playing really well, so yeah, that's going to be a fun matchup. Timberwolves Suns is also good. Like Minnesota's playing really well. Phoenix is playing better than I think a lot of people expected them to. So they're on a nice run here. So those 2 games out west. In the East, like the East is really where you get all those lopsided matchups. Like Indiana's going to get crushed. Brooklyn's going to get crushed. Washington's likely going to get crushed. Really, the only one is Heat Bulls. And like I feel like these teams always play each other every single week. Like,
yeah, it's got to be the 5th meeting.
Doesn't it feel like the Heat have exclusively played the Bulls, Knicks, and Cavaliers this season?
And Magic.
And Magic, yeah. Magic early on, yeah. But it's like, that's it. That's all 15 of their games against those 4 opponents. So, yeah. And like the Bulls have played the Heat and the Sixers like all season.
Yeah.
But no, like that's going to be a good matchup. Chicago's a small home favorite there. So kind of a toss-up game. Both teams above 500. Kind of in that stretch right now where it's like a win puts you out of the play-in. A loss moves you further back in the play-in. So, but that's going to be a good game as well.
Top 2 teams in the East right now, just as we predicted, the Pistons and the Raptors.
Yeah. Raptors apparently won 5 in a row. That's not what I expected. And then don't look now. Rodney, don't look now. But the Milwaukee Bucks are currently 11th in the Eastern Conference and out of the play-in.
Yeah, that's wild. It's wild. And I mean, it just fuels the fire for them to trade Giannis.
Yeah. I really thought it was going to happen last offseason. But if Milwaukee's ceiling at this point is like a 5 or 6 seed, I don't know how you can just be content with it. You have to do something. You have to do something drastic.
Sadly, my Charlotte Hornets are 4-11.
And reports that LaMelo is unhappy with the franchise. Honestly, it's gone more years than I thought it would before we finally got the LaMelo trade rumors going. Yeah. And it makes sense. They got a lot of good young players, but they need to reset somehow.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great opportunity to trade him. Trade suitors. I don't know. Maybe that's a topic for when we come back. Yeah. If he won't be traded by then, but some trade talk for LaMelo at 4-11. All right, let's get to our best bets for betting. We have 15, 20 minutes left here that we want to make sure we get to these. Before we do so, let me remind you that the standings look like this. I am 28 and 32. You are 32 and 28. So you hold a 4-game lead as we head into week 12 of the National Football League. I will get us started, and I'm going to start tonight. I always like to find a Friday game. Here is my Friday game. It is out west. It's in Vegas. F1 weekend, by the way.
Yeah.
Happy F1 weekend to those in Vegas. I know it's a pain in the butt, but it looks cool. It looks cool. I always like the way it looks there in Vegas, but I am a sucker for Vegas. It is UNLV and it is Hawaii. UNLV is at home. Surprisingly, both these teams are having pretty decent years. Hawaii 7-3. They're coming off a 38-6 win over San Diego State. UNLV is even better. They're 8-2. They've won 2 in a row. Their losses this year came back-to-back at Boise and with New Mexico. I do think the Rebels get it done. I think they're just a little bit better offensively. They run for over 200 yards a game. I think they're going to be able to run wild on Hawaii, score a bunch of points. I will take the Rebels by a field goal or more in this one. I like UNLV at home tonight.
All right. Is Hawaii still like the team to target? Like, because like when I think of Hawaii football, I think of, man, it was a rough college football weekend betting wise. So you got to chase by betting the over in Hawaii football. Is it still that team?
They're scoring 30.5 points a game. They're allowing 23.7. So better defensively this year than a lot of years. The total in this one's 63.5. That's a lot of points. That is a lot of points. I do think a Friday night standalone type game could get us to an over. I don't, it's not a lock it in. It's after Florida State, North Carolina State. So it is going to be a standalone. If I was leaning, I would say the over. I think somewhere around 38, 30, somewhere around there. But not a lock it in game. But Hawaii UNLV should be a good one.
All right, we're going NBA Cup Friday. The Minnesota Timberwolves at the Phoenix Suns. I mentioned this earlier. This is one of the better games of the night. Phoenix has been playing really well, but this is a tough matchup for them. I know that they're at home, but I like the way that Minnesota's been playing. They're healthy. You get like the Suns really don't have a good answer defensively for Anthony Edwards. Really, not a lot of teams do, but Anthony Edwards, I think, should have a huge night at Phoenix. And this is a spread that I think is just a smidge too small. So I'm going with Minnesota -3.5 in this NBA Cup Friday.
All right. I got 2 loser teams and I'm betting on it. 2 loser teams and I'm betting on it. 13th in the West, the Dallas Mavericks, 4-12 against the worst team in the West, the New Orleans Pelicans at 2-13. Pelicans have lost 7 in a row. By the way, the Sacramento Kings have now lost 8 in a row. What a disaster there.
And lost by 40-something yesterday.
Yeah. Dallas lost 2 in a row, but I do believe that you will see Cooper Flagg back tonight. Okay, so I'm just going to go out there and say this. Dallas has to start figuring it out soon. They have to start figuring it out soon. I'm not saying they need to be Western Conference contenders, but they need to be better than what they are.
Jason Kidd, no, so I think what Dallas needs to do is they need to realistically look at themselves and say, are we trying to win now? And if not, we need to officially rebuild. They already have Cooper Flagg. If they decide to trade Anthony Davis, they have an opportunity then to get a really great draft pick next year. Because in case you forgot, Rodney, they've traded picks, assets to build the team they have now. I think after this year, they don't own their first-round pick again until 2031. Nico Harrison put them in a really terrible spot. So this is sort of the time where they say, okay, might have to just admit the Luka trade was a huge fail, but we can somewhat salvage this by trading Anthony Davis, by trading Kyrie Irving, getting some picks, and rebuilding around Cooper Flagg and a high pick this year. And those are the cornerstones of our franchise moving forward. It's going to suck for a couple of years, but we're going to be better off long-term for it. Because if they were fully healthy, everything's fully healthy, what's their ceiling in the Western Conference right now?
Yeah. Nah, 5 or 6.
Right. That's exactly what I was going to say. Exactly what I was going to say. 5 or 6 seed. That's not worth it. That's not worth it. So you just have to admit that you messed up, you move on, and then you start a new era with Cooper Flagg as the official cornerstone of the franchise.
Well, I'm looking at that roster. I don't I don't think you keep PJ Washington. I don't think you keep D'Angelo Russell. I don't think you don't keep Klay Thompson. So, yeah, I would say Cooper, Flag, and then everybody else is on the table to potentially shop, right? Like, and I know Cooper, Flag wants to win now, but like, okay, Cooper, we're not, and this roster's not, so we're going to have to do something different. But anyways, back to my best bet. I'm going to take Dallas -3.5 tonight. They're better than New Orleans. New Orleans, disaster. Talk 2 disaster franchises right now.
Terrible. All right. I didn't do a great job of disguising it during the college football segment, but I'm taking USC. They're a big underdog, much larger underdog than I thought they would be at Oregon. This is a must-win game for both teams, but like I mentioned earlier, USC has had it's competitive outings, must-win games against Iowa, against Nebraska. They've had a tough schedule. They've been able to overcome it. They beat Michigan. So this is a good spot for USC, and 10.5 is just a really, really big number against an Oregon team that honestly isn't overwhelmingly dominant. So I'm going to go USC plus 10.5 here. I hope Rodney was able to hear all that. Yeah, I think Rodney lost his connection, but all he needs to know is that we're going USC plus 10.5 against Oregon. Not only is this going to save their season, but it's going to put them in a really good spot to make the college football playoff. That's all you missed, Rodney. USC plus 10.5. There you go.
Yeah. I the internet. Awesome. That's why I figured I didn't miss much. USC 10.5. All right, good work. I like that as well. I'm going to go with the Texas Longhorns in kind of a we have to win and have to be better here situation. They take on Arkansas. In one of the few Big 12 games that I mentioned, or excuse me, SEC games that I mentioned earlier that are halfway decent. Let me pull this up real quick here.
Is Texas really at the point where they're like, oh, we got to win this game? Like their playoff hopes are cooked, right? No way. No way. No, there's absolutely no way that Texas should be a college football playoff team.
I'm not convinced. They got Arkansas, then they got Texas A&M. I'm not
but they
convinced.
have what, three losses?
Yeah, not convinced. Arkansas is 2-8.
Arkansas sucks, but then they got Texas A&M, who's one of the best teams in the nation. So
I'm not convinced the Longhorns are dead. Do I want them in? No. Do I think they belong? No. I'm not convinced they're dead. I'll take Texas -8.5 in this one.
That's pathetic. Not your bet, but just the fact that Texas is like, we still have a chance. All right, Illinois doesn't have a chance at the playoff, but Wisconsin's awful.
Yeah.
That's a bad team. And Illinois was a top 10 team not too long ago. It's kind of similar, Rodney, honestly, with Texas, Arkansas here. Like, yeah, Illinois had some losses. It's kind of hurt themselves this season, but like they're still a much better team than Wisconsin is. And even though they're on the road, I'm taking the Illini here -8.5.
Yeah, night game there in Madison. So gonna be a cold one. It'll be a cold game in Madison. Illinois, Wisconsin, let's see. It doesn't show I thought maybe they would show game time temperature, but not going to be warm. Big Ten Network for that one. All right, Sunday. I'm going to take the Packers. I think the Vikings are at their breaking point, and they broke. I mentioned it last week. They had to beat the Bears to kind of stick around at 4-6 now. Packers 6-3-1 have not played well either. Although they just came away with the win at your New York Giants, but really have not played all that well. But I think they come out strong in a home game here. I'll take the Packers by a touchdown or more at home against the Vikings.
All right. There are multiple double-digit favorites this weekend in the NFL. One of them are the Baltimore Ravens hosting the New York Jets. This one scares me because I'm like, the Jets might be better with Tyrod Taylor instead of Justin Fields, who was officially benched. But also, the Ravens are at home. They're facing a bad Jets team that just got rid of a lot of their best defensive players. Lamar Jackson's back. I think, and like Baltimore last week against Cleveland, they're like, okay, guys, let's figure this out. So I think the Ravens are gonna wallop the Jets and win by 2+ touchdowns. So 13.5 for Baltimore for me.
Okay, my last one, I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys. This is an odd one for me because I'm an Eagles I'm an Eagles guy, but I honestly, like, I know it's the Raiders, but Dallas looked pretty solid, and their defense is getting better. They've made some moves. They've gotten some health. I think Dallas will stick around, potentially beat Philadelphia. I like Dallas plus 3.5 on Sunday against the Eagles.
All right, my last one. It was between this and the Sunday night game, but I went with Monday Night Football, the 49ers, a touchdown favorite hosting the Carolina Panthers. Like Carolina has definitely surprised a lot of people this year, myself included, yourself included, but to go all the way across the country to Santa Clara to face a healthy Niners team that just put up 44 points against Arizona. I love San Francisco here. I think that they're going to win comfortably.
Okay. I am 28-32. You are 32-28 heading into this weekend. All right, let's get to a comment real quick. When does Toyotathon start? I'm not picking the Packers until then. Okay. And he also says, Timberwolves, baby, our Minnesota guy likes Minnesota. All right. Let's get to our Mount Rushmores of 12, and I'm just going to start this with Tom Brady. He's in.
Yep.
Tom
Brady. And I know you're going to hate this, Dan, but Aaron Rodgers also on.
Yes, but what are we doing if we're doing one from each sport?
Are we for sure doing one from each sport?
Well, okay. Major League, we don't have to. We've been doing it for these numbers that is pretty popular. We certainly don't have to because I'm not sure, and maybe Dan will help us, the National Hockey League will have a 12 to include here.
Yeah, there's a couple that I found in the NHL that I looked up, but like it would be like Patrick Marleau was one that I saw. It wasn't someone who was like, oh my God, we're totally Ollie Jokinen. Jerome McGinley is a pretty good one, honestly.
So let me go with, I think John Stockton in the NBA belongs.
Yeah, I think so. Like LaMarcus Aldridge is there too, but yeah, John Stockton. So it would be like John Stockton NBA. Let's go Jerome McGinley for NHL. You have Tom Brady in the NFL, and then baseball. I think the best I saw is Robbie Alomar.
Yeah, Robbie Alomar or Wade Boggs, Mr. Chicken himself.
Was Wade Boggs number 12? Was he?
War for the Yankees during his
I thought Wade Boggs was a different number for most of his career. I'll look here. Yeah, so Wade Boggs was number 26 for the bulk of his career with the Boston Red Sox. Then he was number 12 with the Yankees and with Tampa. So like from age 35 to 41, he was number 12.
See you, Wade. So Roberto Alomar will be our Major League Baseball representative, but that's the question. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is getting left off here.
I mean, all right. So I think we can do it. I think we could leave him off just because he's so weird. But like NFL, so just like NFL, we do have to acknowledge like this is a quarterback number. Yeah. Because after Tom Brady, it's Rodgers, you have Terry Bradshaw, Bob Greasy, Jim Kelly, Roger Staubach, Joe Namath, Ken Stabler, Randall Cunningham, Rich Gannon, Andrew Luck. So like it's a very, very strong number for quarterbacks, but Tom Brady's Tom Brady. So
and honestly,
it is what it is.
You can't forget Michael Jordan actually wore 12 for one game.
One game. That's right.
1990, his jersey was stolen, and he wore 12.
That's right. You know what? He might have to go on there too because
I mean, Kobe went on for like a half dozen numbers. Why can't he was two, but yeah, Jordan was 12.
Michael Jordan wore more numbers in NBA games than Kobe Bryant did.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
And LeBron James.
Yeah. All right, Dan has a fantasy question for us. Jalen Hurts or Jacoby Brissett?
Oh, I don't know. I'll let you answer this.
Save that for Sunday. When I get a question like this, I go with like Jalen Hurts is the better player. I'm going Jalen Hurts. Although Dallas has been better, Arizona's got Jacksonville, but Jacksonville's not a pushover right now.
Yeah, Dan, here's some good advice. here's some good advice. If we both tell you Jalen Hurts and you're like you're not fully convinced, then the answer is Jacoby Brissett because that's what you want to do. So.
I'm playing Jalen Hurts if this is my team. All right, so our Mount Rushmore was Tom Brady, Robbie Alomar, John Stockton, and
Jerome McGinley.
Boom, there it is. That's our Mount Rushmore for 12. So when we do get back from our Thanksgiving break, because that is our important announcement, we are not going to have a show next week. We will still do our best bets for betting. I'll have to find it on X, Twitter, whatever we want to call it. We're calling it Twitter. We don't call it X. We'll do that there, or we'll put it in our Substack. So later this week, we'll get that out there. Make sure you are signed up for our Substack. Go to that little QR code up there, and you can do that there. Follow us on Twitter as well. And again, no show next week. So take the week off, enjoy the Thanksgiving, and come back hungrier than ever.
Yes.
December
something.
2nd. Yeah,
second.
2nd.
Yeah.
So.
We'll have 2 weeks of football to talk about, and and then that'll be the week of conference championships in college football, right? Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh, we'll be hungry, all right.
Big
Absolutely.
week. We'll be hungry for the sports talk. All right, let's get out of here.
Yep, let's get out of here. Thanks everyone who tuned in over the morning. He's Rodney Newpel. I'm Tim SGA Van Stratton, and we'll talk to you after the Thanksgiving break. And this has been episode number 112 of the Stupidest Sports Show on Earth. See you guys. Step right up, dummies, and listen to the Stupidest Sports Show on Earth with Rodney Newpel and Tim Van Stratton. Yeah.